Ever have one of those days where like everything just seems to be a little bit off?
Mm-hmm.
You're rushing to catch the train. You've got your coffee, and somebody bumps into you.
Right.
And then you get on the train, and the person next to you is having like the loudest, most annoying conversation ever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the universe is conspiring to throw these little like micro frustrations your way.
Absolutely. Those daily annoyances. It just
Mhm.
feels like sometimes it's a constant barrage.
And then it's not even just like the little things, the big things too. The unexpected bills or the
Yeah.
the deadlines that sneak up on you.
The car breaking down or just a million different things that can go wrong.
And it all just kind of contributes to this feeling of overwhelm, right?
Absolutely. It's this feeling of being a little bit out of control, like you're at the mercy of the world around you.
Exactly. And it kind of makes you wonder, are we meant to just be constantly putting out fires? Is this the whole point of this whole human experience?
Right. It can feel like that sometimes.
And it's like we've gotten so caught up in the day-to-day, the kind of the minutia of human life
Hmm.
that that we've forgotten something really important.
Hmm.
And I've been thinking a lot about this lately, because I keep having this intuitive sense that there's a different way of looking at all of this.
Yeah.
And for lack of a better term, I'm calling it like a God's eye view,
Interesting.
but not in like a literal, religious way.
Right.
More like a shift in perspective, a way of seeing things from a broader, a more expansive viewpoint.
Like a bigger picture perspective.
Exactly. Yeah, like zooming out a little bit.
And how do you think we access that?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
But I think it starts with recognizing that we're more than just these bodies and these minds.
Yeah.
We're something much bigger, much more fundamental,
Okay.
and that this feeling of separation, of being like this isolated individual, is kind of an illusion.
So you're saying that we're all connected somehow.
Yeah, I think so, and I think that this connection, this underlying unity,
Mm.
is what I'm referring to when I say like a God's eye view.
Okay. I'm starting to get it, but it's hard to grasp that concept when you're stuck in traffic or, you're dealing with a difficult coworker.
Oh, absolutely. I
Yeah.
totally get that. Believe me, I've been there.
Right.
But but I think that if we can even just glimpse this broader perspective, even just for a moment, it can start to change things.
How so?
Well, for one thing, it can help us to let go of some of that feeling of overwhelm and frustration,
Okay.
because we start to realize that we're not really in control of everything anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That there's a bigger picture that we're a part of, and
Hmm.
and that things are unfolding as they should.
So it's kind of like a surrendering to what is.
Yeah, in a way.
Okay.
But it's not a passive surrender.
Yeah.
It's not like giving. It's more like a conscious acceptance of the flow of life. And the other thing that I think this God's eye view can do for us is it can help us to see the interconnectedness of everything.
Mm.
We start to realize that we're all connected to each other, to nature, to the universe as a whole.
And that we're not these isolated individuals.
Exactly. Yeah, and that realization can really shift our sense of self and our place in the world.
It's like we become more aware of the impact of our actions
Exactly.
on the people and the world around us.
Yeah, and then I think that awareness can lead to a more compassionate, a more loving way of being.
That makes sense. So how do we actually start to cultivate this God's eye view?
Well, I think it starts with awareness.
Mm.
With paying attention to our thoughts and our feelings and our reactions to the world around us.
Okay.
And then it's about starting to question those thoughts and those feelings and those reactions.
So like challenging our assumptions.
Yeah, exactly. Because a lot of times our thoughts and our feelings are based on limited beliefs or on past experiences that are no longer relevant.
Right. So we're kind of operating on autopilot.
Yeah, in a
Yeah.
way.
Okay.
And so when we start to question those thoughts and those feelings,
Right.
we can start to free ourselves from those limitations,
Hmm.
and then we can start to see things from a fresh perspective.
So it's like we're rewiring our brains to see the world differently.
Yeah, in a way.
Okay.
And I think that the more we do that, the more we practice that, the easier it becomes to access this God's eye view.
So it's a practice.
Yeah, definitely. It's not something that happens overnight.
Right.
But I think it's a practice that's well worth the effort.
And what are some of the benefits that you've experienced from cultivating this perspective?
Well, one of the biggest benefits for me has been a sense of inner peace.
Hmm.
When I'm able to see things from this God's eye view,
Hmm.
I'm not as easily shaken by the ups and downs of life.
You're more resilient.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And I'm also more compassionate,
Yeah.
more loving, more forgiving of myself and of others.
Those are some pretty powerful benefits.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
So what would you say to someone who's listening to this and they're thinking, yeah, this all sounds great, but I don't know how to do it.
Well, I would say just start with baby steps.
Mm.
Don't try to do everything at once.
Right.
Just start with one small thing.
Like what?
Like maybe next time you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, just take a few deep breaths
Okay.
and try to shift your perspective. Try to see the situation from a broader viewpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can do that, even just for a moment, it can make a big difference.
And what about those nagging thoughts, those negative thoughts that we all have?
Yeah, those are tough.
Yeah.
But I think the key is to not to try to fight them or to push them away, but to just to observe them.
Observe
Yeah,
them.
just to notice them without judgment.
Okay.
And then to gently redirect your attention to something more positive.
So it's like we're training our minds to focus on the good.
Yeah, in a way.
Okay.
And I think the more we do that, the more those positive thoughts and those positive feelings will start to take root.
Mm-hmm.
And the less power those negative thoughts will have over us.
And do you think that anyone can cultivate this God's eye view?
I honestly believe that everyone has the potential to do it.
Okay.
It's in all of us.
It's just a matter of tapping into it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what's one thing that our listeners can do today to start to shift their perspective?
Well, I would say one simple thing is to start to notice the good things in your life.
Okay.
The things that you're grateful for. And to really focus on those things, to savor them.
So like a gratitude practice.
Yeah, exactly.
And why is that important?
Because when we focus on the good, it shifts our energy,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps us to attract more good into our lives.
So it's like we're creating a positive feedback loop.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
And the other thing that I would say is to be kind to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
This is a process.
Right.
It's not going to happen overnight.
And we're all human.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all going to make mistakes.
So just be patient with yourself and keep practicing.
That's great advice.
And, as we wrap up this deep dive into this God's eye view, I'd like to leave our listeners with a little something to ponder.
Okay.
Think about something that's been bugging you lately,
Yeah.
something that's been causing you stress or frustration. And ask yourself, is there a different way of looking at this? Is there a way to shift my perspective to see the situation from a more expansive viewpoint?
That's a great question to ask.
And you know what? You might be surprised at what you discover.
I bet.
Thanks for listening.